Support for this show comes from Vermont, 83% Tourage butter sheets. I love croissants. We know the great pastries start with exceptional ingredients. That's why we use Vermont, 83% Tourage butter sheets, a cultured, unsalted European-style butter made specifically for laminated doughs. With its golden color, soft texture, and perfect flexibility, this butter creates the flaky, delicate layers that make a croissant truly special. Plus, using the sheets means consistent quality and reduced labor, so we can focus on what matters, crafting the perfect pastry. When you taste I Love Croissant, you're tasting the difference that Vermont butter and whole lot of love makes. What's going on, Chef? Welcome to the pot. So good to have you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
A lot of my friends that know who you are, and please introduce yourself. I know a lot of things about you, but just for the audience, I'm just like super excited to talk about you because I've known you for several years, and you, another great friend of mine, have been called delusional chefs when you guys landed in Houston. We didn't think you guys were gonna pull it off. I don't know why. You guys are amazing, and we're just very proud of you. So, but please just go ahead and take a minute and tell the people who are you
Okay.
and why are we talking butter, flour, and sugar today?
Yeah, so butter, flour, sugar, this is our life, as a pastry chef. So my name is Sumant Sharma. I'm the pastry chef at Musaafer Houston.
Okay.
And in Houston, we landed in 2019. And I think you were the first one whom we met, Houston, right? And you were the great support as well. So I'm the pastry chef at Musafir, taking care for the entire pastry program, which is a neoteric Indian pastry program. And I'm glad to have your croissant, like croissant. Each and everyone has their own pronunciation for the word, but I used to call this croissant, right? But croissant,
Croissant.
croissant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. Like each and everyone has their own pronunciation for the word, but yeah, croissant.
So just to specify for the people to understand, Sumant is running one of the very few Michelin star pastry programs in the whole state. Before we even get to that, because that's just like hard to grasp, what first sparked your passion for pastry?
Okay, so my first part passion for pastry is like it goes to my back age school time, right? So I was the student of biology science,
Wow.
right?
I love it.
So I came to the pastry like accidentally,
Of course you did.
Yeah, I have never ever thought about it, but I came to the pastry like a culinary school, and then I started my like a this culinary program there, and I found pastry is so fascinating for me, right? And I can easily relate to this like my that biology
The science.
background,
Yeah, of course.
right? Because pastry is all about science,
Yeah.
right? It's all about chemistry. So I found my perfect spot there, and I put my whole, like efforts and passion, everything in it. And yeah, I'm doing good. And now I'm here and serving the Houston and the Texas.
Houston isn't traditionally known as a, Michelin star city, right?
Yes.
So you've been here since 2009.
Right.
You've seen a lot of restaurants open, restaurant closed, bakeries. My bakery even happened, in the last few years. But how do you think the city has evolved, since you got here, and what things have changed for, Houston to sort of become now Michelin worthy?
Yeah. So, like when we came in 2019 in Houston, so there were not that much restaurants around, right? And later on, we saw that there's lots of restaurants keep coming. But we were like positive since day one,
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
Yes, and we always, like kept in our mind that yes, this place gonna be a boom someday, and it yes, and it will become like it was kind of a melting pot for the restaurant side, right? So later on, like lots of restaurants keep coming, and finally, like we have never thought like first we don't know that the Michelin guide is not here, right? But later we found that there's no Michelin guide in here, but our program and our efforts was always towards to
Be the best of
be
the
the
best.
best, right? And like there is two things,
You're literally always shooting for the stars.
Ye- L- uh, I mean, like, and there's one saying, one for kitchen and one for soul,
Right.
right? So this Musafir project was for soul since day one,
Right.
right? So I think like one for kitchen, it means like you are running something to, like make money out of it,
Of course.
right? But Musafir was the project for us since day one for soul. And that soul was like, we will take the Indian cuisine on a very high level where we can showcase the world, the diversity, and the uniqueness of this cuisine.
I love that. I love that whole sort of a let them vision. It's like, oh yeah, they're out of their mind. They're never gonna get a mission. They say, yeah, yeah, let them say whatever they want. Let
Ye-
them talk.
Right,
You know.
right. And yeah.
How do you approach building a pastry program that ambitious and has what's the vision? What's the specific vision behind it?
Okay, so like on my initial days, I got trained in Western pastries,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I started from Singapore, where I worked in a Japanese restaurant. Right, it's a pastry shop, which is called Batchman Japanese Private Limited.
I love that.
Right, so I started from there. So like initially, I wanted to work in Indian kitchen. Right,
You wanted to work in savory.
savory.
Look at you.
Yeah, right. And like in my case, everywhere, like things, happen on different direction. First, I wanted to be a doctor. I become a chef. Then I wanted to be a savory chef.
You know what? I wanted to be a pediatric surgeon when I was a kid. Random, I know.
Right. That's why you are pastry chef.
That's how I ended up being a fishmonger and then a pastry chef.
Right. Right. Yeah. So same like you, like things got keep changing by themselves, right? So I wanted to be a savory chef, and when I went to the hotel first back in India, it's like it's a very different process of getting a job in hotel.
It sounds like it's a very competitive society.
Competitive society, and
So you're probably like in the top 0.1% most talented pastry chefs in that country.
yeah, you can say that, right?
I can.
Right, but like if you're trying to get a job, you have to go through like certain process, like you have to go through interviews, then you have to go through a food trial, and then GM round, and then so many things, right? So I went to the hotel. I wanted to be a savory chef, but they offered me to work in a pastry.
Pastry. You wanted to peel potatoes. They wanted you to peel apples.
Apples.
Gotcha.
Right, and like my first thing was like, which I learned from my college, was apple pie. I
Cute.
can make the finest apple pie.
I love that.
Yeah.
You need some puff pastry or you make your own?
No, I use
Just pie crust.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
short
really
crust
good.
pastry, right? Okay, so I went to the hotel, and then I got the job in the pastry, right? And then like started working on the pastries. I got trained in Western pastries, and then um before Musafir is my fourth opening in a row. So before Musafir, I did opening for a five-star hotel in UAE, Sharjah.
That's amazing.
And before that, like in India, I did opening for Marriott and Hyatt.
I love that.
And in Marriott, I headed the pastry program. And in that pastry program, like I started focus on Indian pastries and confectionery, right? And I found that like people keep saying that Indian pastry is all about like milk, sugar, and milk and sugar.
Yeah, I get a lot of that in Latin American desserts too. Like it's just sweet.
Sweet, right? So now I wanted to break that myth. I started working on Indian pastries to elevate them on a very high level, to make them like recreate them, making them lighter, tastier, and healthier by recreating, by incorporating more innovative flavor into them, and
So,
then superfoods and Ayurvedic spices in it.
so you would say you first needed to understand sort of the traditional pastry language, right? Like you need to understand traditional pastry doughs and the creams and the custards and the sauces and
Right.
sort of like that foundation. And then from that, what you wanted to do, what the message that you wanted to get across, which was a modern Indian.
Yeah, the Neoteric Indian pastry program. So
What do you call it? Say that one more time.
Neoteric Indian pastry program.
Neoteric.
Neoteric. It's
Oh.
like modern word for
I love that.
modern,
That's cool.
Yeah.
So in those years, what would you say is the hardest lesson that you learned, becoming a pastry chef?
So the hardest lesson, for me, like I really enjoying the journey,
Right.
right? And I'm sort of a guy who, always challenge himself.
Right.
So the hardest lesson is like I would not say hardest, but I would say a finest lesson, right? Which I learned through that pastry period of time, right? And that lesson is like you have to be, if you doing something, right? So you have to do that thing wholeheartedly, and you have to talk to that thing. It doesn't matter it's the equipment, it's the ingredient, or it's your building, right? If you are sitting here, it's your home.
You have to become it.
You have to commit, right? A commitment is the most important part of your success. And then like discipline and focus, like so many things, right? But you have to be very dedicated to your things.
Well, I think it's very important to know what you want. I always talk about that, how like you really want to know what you want, because and you want to be very intentional about the thoughts that you put in your head.
All right.
I always do a lot of self-checking, making sure that the thoughts that I'm having are the thoughts that I want to have, because thoughts, like we were talking about the other day, thoughts spark emotion, emotion sparks action, and then action gets you Michelin star. So
All right. Right.
Um, so, Chef, can you just walk us through the moment you found out you guys, I know it wasn't just you guys, but the team at Musaafer, you and Chef Mayang, which we both love very much, received a Michelin star. What was going through your mind?
So like while we were receiving or
Yeah, when you were told you got it,
okay.
what was that thought?
Okay. So the thought was like, it's a kind of miracle for us. Why? Let me tell you. So our approach was always for a Michelin since day one. Even it was not, the Michelin guide was not in Houston, right? But our approach was always
Excellence.
excellence, like keeping the things on a very, on a standard, right? We have never gone down on our standards.
You've never been playing defense.
Yes, right? And we knows on that time that there's no Michelin guide around, right? But we were on a mission
You were going to set the standard.
standard, right? And we told, and I told in beginning that we were working on this project for the soul, not for the kitchen, right? So the soul was like keeping our standard high, bringing the Indian cuisine on a global palette, right? And serving to the audience that was the Indian cuisine is. So basically, there was a revolutionary, like step which we wanted to take and wanted to set, a platform to the world that okay, which kind of Indian cuisine is.
You bring a really good point there, because a lot of people think about and worry about the pressure in maintaining a star, but it sounds like you're constantly working to compete with yourself, yesterday's version, so to speak. So do you feel like now you have pressure to maintain a star, or you're just focused and pushing your boundaries and pushing yourself to become that next version? Maybe that's a two Michelin star version.
All right. So yeah. So you asked me before that, like, what you thought when you got the Michelin, right? So we thought that okay, this place, like, we have set our standard, and the next step, like in New York, we will make it happen, right?
Mhm.
But we were so lucky, right?
Fortunate.
Fortunate, right? We were so fortunate, right? We got the guide here, and finally we are in a Michelin star, like category. But yes, of course, there's a pressure, like to keep our bar high, and there's no chance to go down.
I don't know.
Always, to raise our bar high to get, like Michelin has more stars as well,
Oh yeah, of course.
right?
And
Not just the one.
knowing you guys should probably create your own classification if we let you. um, and so I know you emigrated for another country, just like I did, and I love for you to share a little bit of the story of how your craft, right? Like something that you probably didn't know how far it could take you. Like you just did it because you were following your passion, because you love making people feel special, and because you love excellence, and because you're a genius. But like, tell us a little bit about were you impressed and like how your career was able to get you uh you got a talent visa, don't you?
Oh yeah, this is
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is like So yeah, so like that thing goes to Chef Mayank, right? So like he came first here, right? And then I met with him in 2014,
Okay.
and we are working together since then, right? He came first, and then he brought us here, right? And we found this place pretty, like familiar to us. And now I will say you like this place become like a second home to us.
Oh yeah.
Like we have a lot of friends around, right? We have like we are familiar to most of things here, right? And we have seen lots of layers of life here. Like COVID came, right? We came here, then we stayed in KT. We did all our trials in like one house kitchen, right?
I remember.
Yeah, you
Right.
stayed there, right? And then like we moved here, we just opened, then we got back shut again because of the COVID, right? And then we again open. So like there's so many ups and downs we have seen here, but still like finally we are so happy.
Dude, you
Yeah.
it really is a great story because but not that long ago, culinary was not necessarily considered the most respectable career, right? And just seeing how someone with a craft, definitely, super high, level of execution of a craft, but like can take you to places, can allow you to not just have an incredible life, but give and provide an incredible life for those that you love. And I just think that's not talked enough about. Like this is an awesome industry to be in. And yeah, I just want, I wish I could sort of send this information back to 17-year-old Omar and tell him it's all gonna be good. Just stay the path, stay focused, and everything's gonna work out. If you could tell something to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Okay. So yeah, same like when I was 18-year-old, right? So I was preparing for this like science thing, right? And when I got into the hotel management, right? So that time same thing happened to me. Like I was not get support from my like like community or my
Where your support
families.
system wasn't being very supportive.
Right.
I heard a joke the other day. Sorry to interruption. They were asking like, "Hey, since a kid asked his mom like, Mom, they're asking me in school what are my pronouns." And they said, "Honey, you're Indian. Your pronouns are doctor." It's so you weren't for like, Mom, I'm not gonna be a doctor.
See. So like in India, like each and everyone, like all the parents think like their kids should be like doctor or engineer or some sort of
Bro,
like any government, like
I wish I had been the fly in the wall. Mom, I'm gonna be a pastry chef. Could you what?
right. Right. So that's the same expression I got from there, right? Like my family, they were like, what you want to leave this biology science background and you going to get this hotel thing, right? We don't understand what is it, but it's up to you. That was the crazy thing you're going to do. I said it's fine, I will make it happen. Just wait. But yeah, I always believe in myself. The same thing I wanted to tell to everyone, those who are pursuing this like culinary path. Just believe in yourself, and each and every like sector of like wherever you go, everything needs your dedication, everything needs your passion, right? And then things get works, right? It doesn't mean like you are a doctor or you are an engineer or you are a chef. Like each one have their own specialty, right?
Yeah.
I have the specialty. That's why I'm in Houston, right? You told us we have a specialty visa, right? So yes, um, I'm enjoying this, and it's really,
So
yeah. So it's,
we're enjoying seeing you enjoying yourself, chef. I want to ask you, what advice would you give a young pastry chef that's hoping to make it big in Houston,
right.
like you?
Okay. So for me, like Houston is a very like beautiful place. First of all, you know, whatever you want, you can get like produce wise or your like whatever the ingredients you need, you can get them easily, right? So working at Musafir, I always, like focus on as like we always keep changing our menus and seasons and all, right. So those things like we understand that, like keep changing, no, to keep you engaged,
Engage,
right?
stay
So
relevant.
relevant. So yeah, let me tell you one more thing. Like there's one author, is his name is Justin Herald.
Okay.
He's an Australian author, and he has a book, What Are You Waiting For? Right?
Yeah.
And there's a little quote he has: if if changes nothing, changes nothing. Right? If changes nothing,
Changes
changes
nothing.
nothing. Right? So, yeah. So, I would say, like, explore more innovative, like ways of um, uh, improve your pastry program, work on your skills. There's lots of, renowned pastry chefs are doing tremendous job. Keep watching them, but same time, keep in mind that um, the local and sustainability of food resources, the most important thing, right? We should start working on them and then see that how the good products will, like come out, and it will help you to get more engaged into it, and always, like do your thorough research and development.
Right.
And that research and development, it means like not just read about the product, right? If I'm making croissant, right, it doesn't mean like I should read about the croissant. No, I have to find out the ways that how I can incorporate Houston in that croissant,
Right.
right?
Smart.
And for that, I need to do my thorough research and development on the resources, and it can be like local butter, local milk, local, like eggs from somewhere, or whatever the produce we can get from here.
Also, like being brave, like being brave enough to show who you are, what you stand for. A lot of times people just want to blend in. And I can appreciate blending in is safe, but one thing that I always want to make sure that I am, and I'm big on, like, I want to have a definition of Omar that I'm comfortable with, right? Because I'm the one that has to deal with myself, and I want to tell myself that I'm brave, and if I'm doing something and I'm not scared, then I must not be brave. You know what I mean?
All
And
right.
so, like, always, I try to tell myself, if you're doing this and you're uncomfortable and you're a little scared, that's what brave means, if
Uh,
you're always doing things that you're feeling very comfortable with, and
yeah, I'm totally agree with you. Like, uh, like being a little scared is not a negative thing.
no.
It's a positive thing, like, because it will always help you to push the boundaries. It will help you to always, like uh, get yourself improved each and every day, right? Suppose you have made something, like I have made some dessert, right? And I feel like that, okay, that's the perfect thing. So it means like I stop my, like I put a full stop on my creativity,
Right.
right? But if I have somewhere in mind that, okay, no, there can be more better things, like I can do more better in this, right? So that will always keep me pushing towards the finding, like new ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chef, I have a couple fun and rapid fire questions for you.
Uh-huh.
If you could eat one dessert the rest of your life, which one would that be?
Rasmalai.
Rasmalai?
Yes.
Elaborate for for us. We're about to Google this. Don't you worry.
Okay, okay. So like because I'm working on the like I'm Indian, right? So I have
No,
grown up by eating this rasmalai. But if you will talk about me like Western, then I would say apple pie.
apple pie. Oh yes. No, but explain. What's the first dessert?
That's the rasmalai. So rasmalai is basically a Indian cottage cheese based dessert which is soaked into milk, which is flavored with saffron and cardamom.
God, I love cardamom. I'm obsessed with
Yeah,
it.
that's super beautiful. Whenever you get a chance, come to Musaafer. I'll make you eat it.
Exactly. Yeah. What about tomorrow? What
Yes.
is
Yeah, two more.
what is the most underrated ingredient in pastry, you think?
The most underrated ingredient is uh, like flour, if I say.
Flour is a great one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a pot where we were just talking about flour with my buddy Ambrose. He's actually coming in a little bit. We're gonna have dinner. And they represent Grand Moulin de Paris, and they bring all the French flour from a mill in Champagne.
Right.
But we were just talking about like everything, like the T45s and the other ones, and the ash content and the protein, and yeah, most people in our industry, we just work with this ingredient our whole careers, and we know nothing about it. We're never doing gluten tests. We're never
Correct.
like just nothing at all. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Right. Even the people not like we not even focus on the labels. Like they sometimes they say it's like bleached. Sometimes they say enriched. Right. If I ask most of the pastry chef cannot tell that what does it mean like bleached or enriched. What does it mean? They don't even know.
That's exactly right.
Right.
No, most people don't. Well, not just with the flour, like generally in the food industry, we're just not aware of what things mean. Do you have a fun story about croissant you want to share with us?
Yes. Yes.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So croissant is always my um
Something you're passionate about, your pet peeve, your
yeah, it's like this is one of the best thing which I wanted to do always, right? Yeah, which I have learned through my previous in previous hotels. So there's a funny story. So I went to a food trial, right? And that trial was based on croissant, right? The guy who appeared before me, he got failed because of croissant.
wow,
Then the
so scary.
yeah, the executive chef who was there, he told me that Sumant, this is all about croissant. Whatever you're gonna make, it's up to you. But croissant is not
Croissant.
good. Our ownership
Your
is
toast.
not gonna get you in.
Your apple pie was delish.
Delicious, yeah. But yeah, because I have already worked with that executive chef already, right? In India, back in India. I said, okay, okay. I went there. The whole night I work on everything like laminating the like kneading the dough, laminating the dough, then cutting, rolling, little freezing, and finally in the morning the baking. 11 o'clock in the morning, I have to present those croissants to like the entire management team. So the oven was on the second floor, right, and the pastry was on a first floor. I put the croissant on baking, you know perfectly fermented, and they were nicely proofed, and I put them on baking, came to the pastry back, started working on other desserts, designing and all, everything, decorating. I forgot to go and check.
Oh,
The entire batch was burnt.
oh.
The entire batch was burnt, and I was just scattered. Like I went there, I just hold my hair and sit in front of the oven, and I said, what?
You
Why?
you know these activated charcoal croissants are very popular all over TikTok.
They,
Should I just brought them to it?
so the like the baking, they want like almost 80% they want, right? Literally charcoal. But the shape was still same.
So they could tell the structure and all that.
Yes.
You got the job.
The executive chef came, he saw, and he told me, Sumant, What happened? I said, chef, I lose the job.
It was
Yeah,
great meeting you.
right, right. I said, I lose the job. He said, show me what happened. I said, I forgot, right? I was busy in the pastry and I forgot that I put the croissant on baking and they all want. He said, okay, just show me. I showed to him. He was literally like surprised that, man, what you did, this is the croissant. I can explain by the outer appearance. They was super nice. He took one, put put that one in a chiller to cool it down. He bring it back and he cut it. And this is the nice,
Beautiful honeycomb.
beautiful honeycomb inside. Like nice, like this air pockets and everything, right? He took the burnt croissant in front of the management.
Whoa.
He said that, guys, this is our mistake, not his. Why we put the oven on the second floor when your pastry is on the first floor? All right. He said that this is our mistake, not his mistake, right? He
love
was
that.
working by himself and he's just making the other desserts, right?
That's a great
I
story.
got the job.
I love that. Bravo. Croissants are just such a humbling product.
Oh.
They know how to bring you down to your knees sometimes and also build you back up. And I think that's a great story. What about we just wrap it up with just one question? Chef, if you weren't a pastry chef, what would you be doing? If you were not
Uh-huh.
a pastry chef,
So
what would you do?
doctor.
You would be a
As I told you, right? Yeah. Yeah, same if not like flour, butter, and sugar, maybe the other chemicals like tablets, injection, or syringe.
I love that. Brother, thank you so much for joining us. Take the last minute and just tell the audience something that you want, something they want to share about you and where they can find you.
Yeah, so as I said that I'm pastry chef at Musaafer Houston. Please come and have a look and try my creations and efforts which I'm putting in innovating the Indian pastry program, and definitely you will love it. And in Houston, we are here for the Houston and we are Houstonians.
Thanks a lot, brother. You're so good. We're proud of you. That's a wrap. Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. We'll see you next week. Support for this show comes from Vermont, 83% Tourage butter sheets. I love croissants. We know the great pastries start with exceptional ingredients. That's why we use Vermont, 83% Tourage butter sheets, a cultured, unsalted European-style butter made specifically for laminated doughs. With its golden color, soft texture, and perfect flexibility, this butter creates the flaky, delicate layers that make a croissant truly special. Plus, using the sheets means consistent quality and reduced labor, so we can focus on what matters, crafting the perfect pastry. When you taste I Love Croissant, you're tasting the difference that Vermont butter and whole lot of love makes.